If you're here, you're probably very interested in buying a home, but there's a lot of different things that go into buying a home. So in this video, we're going to be talking about some tips that you need to know before you go ahead and get your first home. What's up? I'm Brandon Young. On this channel, I teach you how to make, save, and invest money. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss a beat. Now, it's been over probably like a year since I bought my first home, and I know a lot of things went into the actual process before I actually even got the house. So let's go over a couple of things that will help you on your first home purchase. Now, number one is going to be saving early. Now, when it comes down to a house, I'm thinking about three things I'm gonna have to pay for. It's going to be the down payment, it's going to be closing costs, and it's gonna be move-in expenses. Now for the down payment, I usually go for that FHA 3.5%, but depending on which loan that you choose, if it's conventional, you might end up paying 10 to 20%. So you're gonna have to take 10 to 20% of that home total value, and that's what you're gonna have to have for your down payment. Next is gonna be closing costs. These are usually the fees and expenses used to finalize your mortgage. Typically, these are going to run between 2 to 5% of your total loan amount. So just keep that in mind. As an easy example, let's say that your house is going to cost $100K and you need 2 to 5% for closing costs. So you'll be paying anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 in closing costs. And lastly, your moving expenses. So when you move in, you're going to need some money. Maybe you need to freshen up the place a bit. You need to do some furnishings, etc., etc. Maybe you're moving from one state to another, so you might need a truck. You just want to have those fees included. Number two is to decide how much house you can actually afford. So you want to figure out how much you can safely spend on your home that you're thinking about getting. A simple Google search of home affordability calculator will help you understand how much house you can actually afford by putting your total down payment, what your debt to income ratio is, how much you're getting paid, your credit score. It will allow you to know what you're on track to actually afford. Number three is to make sure you're checking your credit score and get that credit score high. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, having a good credit score will allow you to get a better interest rate as well as allow you to probably do more with your loan. And the way that you do that is making sure you have the best possible credit. So you want to make sure you're using all the free credit score resources like Experian, freecreditscore.com, as well as you're paying bills on time and you're making sure you're keeping all your credit cards open. Number four is to explore your mortgage options. As you know, there's a lot of mortgage options. I'm probably going to leave a couple out, but they have conventional, they have FHA, they have USDA, and they have VA loan. So depending on your background, you need to figure out what would be the best situation for you to be in terms of loans, as well as you want to choose the right mortgage term. So usually they have 30-year and 15-year. 30-year is going to be spread out over a longer time, so you're going to have a lower payment. 15-year, you usually can get a lower interest rate, but your payments will be a lot larger. Number five is to research first-time homebuyer assistance programs. Many states and many banks offer a lot of first-time homebuyer assistance programs for anyone that is looking to get in the housing market. So whatever bank or mortgage company that you're deciding to use, always ask if they have a program on hand. I'll probably make a video about this, speaking about it more in depth, but always check with companies, banks, to see if they have programs, and also your state. Number six is to compare mortgage rates and fees. I feel like one of the biggest mistakes that you can make is only settling with one quote from one company. You need to look around, talk to multiple mortgage companies and banks just to see what their fees, what their prices is looking like. Some companies will allow you to get a better interest rate, lower costs, so being able to shop around will allow you to get that better understanding of which company is giving you the best deal. Number seven is to get a pre-approval letter. Now, a pre-approval letter essentially is the mortgage company giving you an offer, letting you know that they're gonna lend you this certain amount under specific terms. And also, I like having this on the list because one, it allows you to get a better understanding of how much house you can actually afford. So you're not out there looking for an $800,000 house, but you can only get a $400,000 house. 2, it allows real estate agents to know that you are a serious buyer. And most of the times, a lot of real estate agents, well, the ones that I know, they won't even show you houses without you having a pre-approval letter, because that typically shows that you're very serious about the process. Side tip, you should be able to get multiple pre-approval letters from different mortgage companies as long as you do it within a 30-day period. It shouldn't affect your credit score or anything like that, just as long as you're doing it in the same period. Now we're gonna get into some home shopping tips. So for number 8, we have choose your real estate agent very carefully. You wanna make sure that your real estate agent understands your primary goal and they're helping you to achieve that goal. During my little stint when I was looking for my first house, I was giving a lot of the real estate agents what I'm looking for, but they weren't actually giving what I need back. Honestly, your agent should make the process seamless and very easy to understand. You should be able to leave this whole home buying process way more knowledgeable and being able to understand exactly everything that happened, as well as you ultimately getting what you are looking to achieve is to get your first home, and the first home that you actually want to be in. Number 9 is to pick the right type of house in the right type of neighborhood for you. This is going to be totally up to you what happens. What are you actually looking for? Are you looking to start a family? Do you just want a single family house for you and your family? Are you looking to maybe house hack? Are you looking to be a landlord? Do you want a duplex? Maybe you want to share it with a brother. Like, what is ultimately your goals, and what type of neighborhood do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a quiet neighborhood? Do you not like the quiet? Do you want people to be active? Do you want action? Like, these are things that you want to think about when you're looking for your house. Are you okay hearing gunshots at night? Are you okay walking home at night in a place that is currently about to get gentrified but is not totally there yet? You have to just get a better understanding of what you're looking for, what you're going to be okay with, and settle with that, and that will help you with your house search. 10 is to stick with your budget. Now, sometimes depending on what type of loan you get, or if you get a multifamily home, they may be able to loan you a lot more than you are able to actually afford. If you want to avoid financial stress going down the road, try to stick to the actual budget that you set aside for yourself. That was around step number 2 or 3. Try to look for properties, a little bit lower than what you actually have budgeted, so you have some wiggle room to actually negotiate. Now, this is totally going to be very dependent on your actual strategy that you're going to be using to get into this house, so keep that in mind as well. Number 11 is to make the most out of open houses. Now, one thing I don't see a lot of people doing is going to a lot of open houses. Open houses is not only a great way to see different opportunities, but it's also to see what you like and what you don't like. Being able to see different varieties of houses kind of opens up your imaginary juices, and you get to see, okay, I like flooring, or I might like carpet better, or I like the way this door looks, I want my house to have this type of door. Just being able to go to different open houses can open your eyes and give you different opportunities that you might have never seen if you didn't go to an open house. And ultimately, I like to rather go to the open house than to see a picture online. It gives me a better understanding of the property, because pictures can be deceiving. Number 12 is to pay for a home inspection. Now, this isn't to get confused with the standard home inspection that you usually get when you're doing your closing, because usually those aren't as in-depth. I want you to go for the most in-depth home inspection, because this is going to allow you to check for a lot of mechanical issues. This will check for pests, radon, or any mold that you may have in the house. When I was getting my first house, I had them do a very in-depth inspection, and what we found was the mechanical for the electric for a lot of the breaker boxes had the wrong voltage. So if somebody would have turned it on, it would have caused a fire. So things like that are very detrimental to know, because who would want the first month of having their first house for it to burn down? I know I don't. Number 13 is to negotiate with the seller. offer. Now, this is gonna be very iffy, just especially during this time where it's kind of a seller's market. Now, if you get your offer accepted, sometimes you can speak to the seller and have them fix certain things or add a few things in the house that you saw after the home inspection. Maybe you want them to finish the basement, you can ask them, or you want them to add a bathroom. These are things that you can have them add to the actual house. You know, maybe you go up in price. Maybe your original offer, you were at like $395, you throw an extra 10 grand on there because you had some wiggle room, and they can go ahead and add that bathroom for you. So when you go ahead and you finish, you already have that bathroom instead of you having to go and get the contractor, all that stuff. So that's just something to keep in mind. Number 14 is to buy adequate home insurance. I know a lot of people want to save a lot of dollars, but this is just something that you don't want to skimp out on. You want to make sure that you get a policy that is going to cover every single one of your belongings, your house, total costs, just in case anything happens with it. You don't want to go cheap on this. You want to be able to get the best possible quality policy. You don't want to end up losing dollars trying to save cents. So get that home insurance, proper one. And with those tips, you should be on your way to getting your first home without any caveats. But are there any tips that you would add to this list? Let me know in the comment section below.